bands of all time. Over the last 40 years, they've sold hundreds of millions of records, they've performed to hundreds of millions of people, but the band shows no sign of slowing down. In fact, Akadaka have just released a new album called Rock or Bust. Joining me now from New York are Angus Young and Brian Johnson. Welcome to Weekend Sunrise, fellas. How are you both?
We're doing good, Andrew.
Yeah, very good, yes.
Excellent to hear. Now, I just mentioned you've sold more than 200 million albums. You're the most successful rock band of all time. In 2014, does that still mean something to you?
It means a lot, mate. You know, for the 35 years I've been in the band, well, nearly 35 years, you know, in a band, 5 years before that, that's 40 years of a band remaining, you know, in people's psyche. You know, people listen to the songs. Young kids listen to Dirty Deeds and Highway to Hell, and they think they're new songs. You know, and that's a great feeling. You know, when they could play them something off this new album and play them something that was done so long ago before even I joined, and they still think it's one and the same. It doesn't date. You know, there's no sell-by date on these songs.
Yeah, well, a good tune is forever, and, you know, obviously that's contributed hugely to your success. Now, this album is the first you've recorded without Malcolm since his illness, his dementia, forced him to leave the band. Did that change the process at all, or were you close to calling it off?
Yeah, well, you know, Mal worked up until he could work no more, and because of the condition he was in with his health, so, yeah. You know, but he was working up until he said, I can't do it anymore, yeah. And so, you know, and Malcolm always was someone who, anything he started, he said, I've got to, you know, you got to finish, you know. So, you know, that was for myself, you know. That was a kind of, you know, the drive, you know. I mean, you know, we were always a band that, you know, we do our best to tough out, you know. You know, if there was something, you know, hard that we had to deal with, you know.
Hence the title, Rock or Bust.
Yes.
Yeah, we weren't going to stop.
Yes.
Because he wanted us to carry on. And,
yes.
Well, he said, just keep making music. That's the way Malcolm talked.
Yes.
He didn't sugarcoat anything.
Well, certainly not sugar. Now, you guys are planning a world tour next year, which is great news for Akadaka fans. Your concerts are such huge production spectacles. How do you make each show different?
Well, it's you know, each tour is you know, it brings its own different not problems, but you know, different things come up. You know, we've got you know, a huge crew. You know, and a lot of countries to get to. You just realise you're getting more new fans all the time, and so these new countries you've never played before want you to come. You know, there's places like China we've never been to, and in India, and places I never really thought about playing is now apparently very rock and roll.
Yeah, a lot of...
oh, they're absolutely low. There's a lot of bands gone there.
And lots of, you know, I mean, there's other places open up, lots of new territories, like in South America and different countries, you know.
Yeah. Now, Angus, it's been said you've got an incendiary sound, and you've actually literally set fire to your amplifier, not once but twice, while recording in the studio. How does that happen? And is it the secret to your sound?
Yeah, well, I do, you know, it is, you know, I mean, you know, this time it happened when we were recording the song Rock or Bust, you know, and it was Brendan, actually, he pointed out, he was just shouting out, hey, Angus, Angus. And I'm looking around thinking I've got a cigarette going or something, and he's going, Angus, you're on fire. You know? And then he was the one that ran across and unplugged me quick, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know. It can happen. Now, of course, there are a lot of stories in the bizarre stories about Angus Young file. I read that you owned a tulip farm, Angus. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, well, I have no tulip farm. I wouldn't. I mean, yeah. I mean, when somebody puts a flower up and go, yeah, it looks nice, pretty colour. Yeah. That's what but if you said to me, what's the name of that flower, I would go, I don't know. Well, it could be a twisty for all I know. Yeah.
Well, as long as you don't eat tulips. Now, Brian, Akadaka have recently joined Twitter with an official account. You've also joined Instagram. How have you, as a band, adapted to the changing face of the music industry and what's kind of required to sell music as an artist?
Yeah. Are you on? In other words, are you on facelift?
No. I don't think anybody in this band has an iPhone, which is a wonderful start.
Really? No one in Akadaka's got an iPhone? You're still on a party line?
No, I've got an iPhone and I don't want one.
Yeah.
I don't want people knowing where I am. I've got a mobile phone, but that's what it is, a phone. And it's about 8 years old, and and I don't care. I really don't. But no, with Twitter, Facebook, I haven't got a clue what you're talking
and they
about.
speak highly. They speak highly of you too.
Absolutely. No, you're welcome to it. You're certainly welcome to it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to change my life. Well, I haven't got time to twit people and say...
You twit Twitter.
You should have tasted this soup I've just had. It was brilliant. Oh.
I'm sure a lot of people would like to know what goes into your soup, though. Anyway, something to think about. Before we go, do you have any words of wisdom to aspiring musos who might be watching this morning?
Well, if you think you've got something, stick at it. You've got to have a bit of passion about what you do, and if you believe in it, stick to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ditto on that one.
Yeah.
Much the same advice I give to aspiring game show hosts. Guys, thank you for joining us this morning. And on behalf of all music fans, thank you for continuing to do what you do. Rock or Bust is out now. And for those about to rock, now and forever, we salute you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Much obliged.
A pleasure. I think we've all learnt something. I think Brian was wearing a Jimmy hat. Not sure.